everybody. Melissa Brandon with Startup Prize, and we are back for another Founder Spotlight. And today I have with me Lia Winter of Winter Innovations. Hey, Leah.
Hey, how are you, Melissa?
I am so good. I'm so excited to catch up because you are like OG Startup Prize. So I know you participated with us in 2019 before we made our shift to focus on health. And yet, part of the reason we actually made that shift is because of companies like you and in our area. I wonder if you could do a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about Winter Innovations.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me here and giving startups like mine a platform to tell our stories. So, Winter Innovations is a medical device startup. Our mission is to develop simple tools for overlooked areas in surgery. And there are actually a few personal experiences that led me to that passion that I'd like to share first. So,
Please.
I was an athlete growing up and had a few of my own sports injuries that I suffered or lived through, and that kind of led me to the orthopedics field. Additionally, my mom tore her ACL, but she had to have a revision surgery 10 days later because her graft failed. So I kind of saw the patient experience if surgery doesn't necessarily go right the first time. And then a little bit later during my studies for biomedical engineering, I worked a lot on research and development projects, and one in particular where there was a day that I spent hours hand stitching ACL grafts. And that's really when I realized that stitching in surgery is something that's really been overlooked by innovation,
Mhm.
and something to improve that process could really help improve outcomes for patients. So that's where the idea for EasyWhip came. It actually started out as my senior design biomedical engineering project in undergrad. And then I decided to start a company while I was pursuing my MBA right after that. So it's been a few years, but EasyWhip is now backed by 17 patents, is FDA cleared, and has been used to help thousands of patients, which is very exciting and some of my proudest moments. But a little bit more, I guess, about the product itself. So traditional stitching needles in orthopedic surgery are really just a one-piece needle, similar to what you would think of for a stitching needle.
Mhm.
The innovation in EasyWhip in our product is that it's actually a two-part needle. It's a small, simple change, but it drastically influences how stitching can be done and really makes the process both faster and stronger, which ultimately can improve outcomes for patients.
Gosh, I love it. It's like you've maybe talked about this once or twice, yeah.
I do it in my sleep now too, I
I
think.
I bet. Well, take us back to Startup Prize 2019, pre-COVID, good Lord. Um,
Oh my gosh.
and I know it was pre-focus, pre of the health focus. What do you remember kind of about your company, where you were, and what do you remember about your experience competing?
So all the way back to 2019, crazy. We
Right?
were
I know.
we were really in the earliest stages of starting our company. My co-founder Preston and I, we had both just graduated from the University of Tennessee. We actually packed up and moved right to Memphis the day of graduation to participate in the 0 to 510 Medical Device Accelerator program. And while we were kind of students and in our early accelerator days, we got our startup capital by competing in pitch competitions. In these competitions, as most people familiar with Startup Prize know, you win giant checks. So I like to say that we were still living giant check to giant check instead of paycheck to paycheck. But um, when we participated in the Startup Prize, we had taken that some of that initial capital. Really, we had an idea, a few hand built prototypes that I had made,
Mhm.
capital from winning the pitch competitions. We had used that to file our first two patent applications, just filed. It took a long time to hear back, but we could at least say patent pending for
Right.
EasyWhip and our stitch methods. And we really were looking to raise our first round of capital.
Mhm.
So I remember what, because we were in 0 to 510, there was a partnership between the accelerator and startup prize, and so all of the 0 to 510 companies came to the qualifier. And I didn't really know too much. I'm a very competitive person, so I heard pitch competition and immediately was like, I'm in. And we had done a few pitch competitions, but what I found out when we got to the qualifier was that this really is unlike most pitch competitions in that it was focused on connecting, mentorship, listening and learning before we even had the opportunity to pitch for capital. So that was really cool. It was kind of reverse focused on
Mhm.
helping us. Um, and then I just remember after the qualifier, we were so excited to submit our business plan. We had a whole like workshop for an entire weekend to fine tune and pitch and take what we had learned at the qualifier and implement. And then we were really excited when we got invited to pitch for the final and had the opportunity to come back to Shreveport.
Well, and not just come back, but I mean, to win it all, the big win. I just like it's so exciting. Do you do you still keep in touch with any of the people that you met during Startup Prize, whether mentors or other founders?
We do, yeah. So I'd say right after we so invited for the final came back and we're really fortunate to win. Part of the winning, in addition, we always say there's many prizes associated with the startup prize. Capital is one, networking, but another one was that we got tickets to come to Prize Fest. So for the film and food prize, so we came to back to Shreveport for the third time, and I think that really sealed the deal of us becoming part of the startup the just prize family in general. So that was a really awesome experience, connected with additional people in the community and ecosystem. But there were some companies that participated or competed, I guess, the same year, like Neuro Rescue, who we became close with. We actually shared a lot of advice back and forth, and
Oh, I love that.
we're friends as we grew. And then now have even started connecting with other companies that have won the startup prize more recently, like Angel Enriquez with Mboa. So we're both participating in the MedTech Innovator Accelerator together. So it's been really cool. Immediately, like at the first event, already had a familiar face and someone to connect with that we had a common, I guess, accolade to put it in our
Yeah.
hat.
I love that, and what a great transition, because I was gonna say, we're gonna talk about this, like, how exciting that you just got accepted to MedTech Innovators, newest cohort. Congratulations.
Thank
Were
you.
you, I mean, like, have you had your eye on this for a while? Is it something that just kinda came up or
So we did accelerator programs a lot in the earliest stages of our business, and then we achieved
Mhm.
those. Thanks to those programs, we were able to achieve some of our really big milestones, like 510(k) clearance, initial commercialization. And I'd say I'm especially excited to participate in MedTech Innovator in this later stage of our business, really
Mhm.
focused on commercialization and growth. Getting FDA clearance doesn't mean like all the problems are solved, just different challenges. So some of our goals for MedTech Innovator, and it actually the program officially kicks off next week. So we'll get to officially start. But really, what we've been thinking about is market access, how we get into hospitals and surgery centers. That's a whole kind of bear of itself. Growing our sales, creating an evidence generation strategy. It's great when the founders pitch the value proposition, but it's really the next level for surgeons to adopt our product is to have data to support the value proposition that we pitch. So evidence generation and partnerships is kind of what we're focused on next.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I know that was a
Thank you.
tough, I mean, like, it's really selective and so it really speaks to the business that you're building. So we're super excited for you.
Thank you.
Um, you know, speaking of that and kind of that trajectory, like it's like you feel like you've got it, like you got like these big milestones, and then it's like now that and I've got through this, now I've got the next one. I mean, are there ever moments where you just have felt like stalled out or uncertain? And if so, like how do you push through those? Like when you're feeling a little frustrated or defeated, or you just feel like you're not making progress, what do you do to kind of reset, or how do you kind of reframe your mindset?
I'll start off by saying just uncertainty is always part of this journey. That's one thing that I've kind of grown to count on. The challenges just start to take different forms at the different stages of the company. Kind of like I said, now that we're focused on commercialization, just different hurdles. But what really keeps me going is coming back to the passion that started this, and it's really making surgery better for patients. And so whenever I'm having a hard day, I always look forward to the next surgery and opportunity when I get to be in the operating room with a surgeon using our product, and using it to help their patients. So that's what kind of keeps my passion and excitement going.
I love that you're actually in the operating room with the surgeon while they're doing those. I had no
Oh yeah.
idea. That must be really wild to like see, like
Yeah.
get live feedback on like what you're designing.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. I always say, my kind of obviously proudest moment is seeing EasyWhip used, but then the next thing is when the surgeon utters the words that I say all the time, like, "Wow, this really is faster."
I know, it must be, like, so I mean, like, I can't imagine how rewarding that feeling is and just seeing it come to fruition. So what's next? Like, I mean, like, you're getting ready to start with MedTech Innovator. It sounds like you're looking for partnerships. Like, what are those next things on the horizon? And more importantly, how can Startup Prize family help?
I talked a little bit about sales growth and commercialization. So, highest things on our priority list that maybe if there's anyone in the audience who hears or can offer an introduction or connection are really new surgeons who could potentially use EasyWhip or orthopedic sales reps and distributors to help us grow the reach of EasyWhip. And then we are planning for a funding round in early 2026. And then finally, we've been really fortunate to also win grants, and those are fueling actually a portfolio expansion that we're very excited about. We're coming out with 6 new versions of EasyWhip to help really solve additional challenges that we've seen in surgery and help expand the types of procedures that EasyWhip can be used
That is incredible. I didn't even know about that one. That's major.
in.
Congratulations. That's super
I had to leave
exciting.
a little surprise for you.
I love a little nugget. Well, before we take off, any last words of advice, insight, encouragement for your fellow founders who are out there?
First, I'd say storytelling is central to everything that we do, not just at the beginning stages of a company. So keep telling your story. Um, Say yes to as many opportunities as possible, and a lot of different ones will present themselves. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are a lot of resources out there, and if there's something that you can't find, there are also other entrepreneurs who maybe are further along. Those have been some of our best supporters and helped us really stay on a track of successful execution. And then I always say, pay it forward, similar to the what the Startup Prize family has done for us. Continue giving to the next stage of entrepreneurs following in our footsteps.
Ooh, Leah, thank you. What a lovely, and I
Thank
will
you.
say, as someone who has watched your journey, like you are definitely walking that walk, not just talking the talk. I've seen you give back, and we
Thank you.
truly appreciate you like coming and hanging out with us and like telling your story and sharing what you've been through. Uh, well, I think that about wraps it up for today. Leah, I know it's been a while, but would you like to join me in a little Viva?
I would love that.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us. Again, if you have folks that are kind of in your orbit that can help with winter innovations, please reach out. We will make sure contact information is below. And thank you again. And on our way out, Leah, a one, a two, a three. Viva
Viva
the
la
Startup
Startup
Prize!
Prize!
It's so much more fun when it's like everyone together in a room. It's a little weird on Zoom, but we're going to keep doing it anyway.
It's
Leah, thank you
perfect.
again.